Hello, everybody. Shell Brodnax here with another episode of Stager Talk, and thanks for taking time today to join me. I am so very excited this time of year because we get to speak to a lot of different speakers that are speaking at RESA in July, and I'm so excited today to introduce you, Miss Dottie Herman. Dottie, welcome to the show. Thank you for being with me.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here, and it was a pleasure to getting to know you, and I'm very excited about being the keynote speaker.
I'm also truly excited. I had the pleasure of running across some circles in the last year with you to where I saw you online, and I was fascinated by your story because I know Forbes had deemed you the richest self-made woman in real estate. Congratulations.
Well,
very impressive.
That was really nice of them. They did on the value of my company, but I was thrilled. And as we both said, I came up the hard way. There was no easy route. So I've gone through the ups and downs like you have, and like anybody who's in business does. And I think that we want to share that with you, share you the successes, because I think that in whether it's the real estate business or home stagers, it's also how you navigate the highs and the lows.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
I know also in my career, you have your peaks and your valleys, and you just got to be able to navigate it. And I think it was funny before the show started, everybody, we were talking about men and women in business. And I agree with you, Dottie. Dottie had mentioned that, men, when they talk about business, they act like they've never made a mistake. And it's just not true. It's just pisha.
It's not true. And I used to say to them, well, just tell me, how do you do it that you just, because they never mention any mistakes they made or any hard times, where I've gone to women things where they're really honest and they'll say, I don't know how I was going to pay the bills. I was torn between my kids. I think that anybody in business, whether they're a man or woman, it doesn't matter. I have a sign when you enter my office, and it says, success is failure turned inside out. And if you're afraid to fail, you can't succeed. And people that never fail never do anything. That's why they never fail.
That's right.
Anybody that I know, I don't care what profession it is, if you're an actress, an actor, has failed, picked themselves up, brushed themselves off, felt sorry for a while, maybe even cried, and got back into the game again.
Yeah.
So I think that we're both, very similar that way. We're transparent, and anybody that wants to excel in their business has to go through ups and downs. There's no way around it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I like to share, the successes that I've had, but also I don't even really like the word failures. I think failure is just really the results of what happened. It doesn't have to be so negative, but we, as women, I think we internalize it a lot. But I like to share with people that it's a bumpy road, and you do have to fall off the horse. You get right back in the saddle, and you just have to keep hitting it. But so many people get to that point where they find challenges and obstacles in their business or even their personal life. They see an obstacle, and it's like, whoa, there's an obstacle. We can't get on the other side. There's something stopping us. Where people like you and I look at that obstacle, and we're like, hey, Dottie, where can I get some C4? We need to blow this shit up. So
right. Or how do you go around it? And Shell, I think that the things that we talk about are things that really make somebody successful or not. And I think that I would always say to myself, well, am I better than I was last month? I might not be there. I might be climbing that mountain, but I'm better than I was last month, and that counts. And I also went to so many different things. When people said, why are you going to that? Why are you going to that convention? And I just want to say I applaud everybody that goes to events and hears speakers. When I was in my 20s, I worked for Merrill Lynch, and I had some great mentors. And in their day, Merrill Lynch was like, forget it, they ruled. And I had a mentor that always said to me, Dottie, you're going to earn what you think. It starts here. So he would say to me, get yourself out and be around people that don't always think like you or that are at a different level. So people made fun of me. I went to all these things and I grew my thinking, and I applaud everyone that comes because I really think they're a big part of how you evolve.
That's
Going
true.
to and hearing great speakers and then seeing other people in the same profession talking about different ways they've done it. I think that is such growth, and I think eventually that does translate into money.
It does. It does. And also about people about seeking out education after they've been in an industry and going to these events. It's showing up. It's showing even your clients, to be able to tell your clients, hey, I'm just back from a convention. I'm continuing my education so I can serve my client base better. And if people just don't even show up and they don't try new things and put themselves out there, like you said, they're never going to fail because they're not showing up to do any of it.
Like that, you can make some really good you can meet people that come from other parts of the country that can give you business. And I chair the top 75 largest brokers in the United States. And I remember when I was much younger, and I would say to those guys, and they were guys then, excuse me, there were no ladies on it. I'd say, I'll pay you to be in your group. I mean, I don't make enough money. My company doesn't make, it's not large enough yet. But if you would let me, I would pay to be in your group and just hear your ideas. And they were a bunch of professional big companies that were all different brands. But we really shared because helping each other made everybody stronger. And what do they say? Good competition is good for you. So I just love the opportunity. And I also would love the opportunity to probably talk to you, Shell, more on how stagers can build relationships with top real estate companies, brokers around the country.
Absolutely. That would be so helpful. I know a lot of stagers that we talk to in coaching stagers in the day-to-day activities of their businesses. A lot of them is like, I can't get this one agent to get it. I can't get this agent to get it. And I'm like, move on. Why bang your head against the wall about that one person when there's so many other agents out there? And in reality,
yes,
a stager only needs 8 to 10 really good clients. You don't need 50 real estate agents on board. You just need 8 to 10 really good ones who believe in staging and want to help their clients sell for more money.
And you want to make sure that they're the right real estate agents, that they make some money. Okay. But truthfully, I always believed in stagers. I always believed in, it's like when somebody first sees you, they don't know you, they're first looking at you, they make an impression. Yeah. And so when somebody, even if they're driving past the house, they're going to make an impression. And if they like what they see, then they've accepted the location. But when they get inside, that's another impression. And I always tell people that when you're the pain in the neck, but when you're selling your home, you want to make the best impression you can. And I'm sure a lot of the people in the audience do new developments and things of that nature. They're always staged. Okay, because the people, and you wouldn't sell half of them if they weren't staged. The people fall in love with how they're done. And I find most customers are visual.
Yes.
So they can't imagine it. They have to see it. So I think what you do is a great service to sellers, buyers, but especially sellers. And I think that we're in a market where, especially as the millennials, you see, when I started the business, people would say, well, gee, is it built well? Well, we'll wait and do the bedroom in 5 years, and we'll do the kitchen in 4 years, and we'll finish the basement. The audience now the millennials, they don't want to wait. They want it done now. And they want it to look nice now, unless you want to severely discount it and sell a handyman special. So I think it's even more important now to have your home dress and shine. And I think the value that stages bring is tremendous. I'm not sure I think we need to even educate more of the public on how important it is to have a stager.
We do. One of the things that we offer through RESA is an MCE course for real estate agents. It's called Staging to Sell What Every Agent Should Know. And it's for 3 MCE credits in most states that allow the subject matter in staging. And it's really, we had 22 classes last week that came in So this is hundreds of real estate agents that members of RESA are approved instructors, and they teach the class to other real estate agents to be able to get them to understand the value of staging and why it works and how to position it with your clients. And
well, I'm gonna pass it on and share that with.
Oh, definitely. Any office that you guys have, we have amazing instructors throughout the entire U.S. and even in Canada.
Okay, Shell, I don't think I really have to ask you this question, but I'm going to ask, but I think I guessed it already. So we're going to learn a lot. We're going to answer a lot of questions, but are we going to have fun too?
Oh my gosh, we are going to have so much fun. You guys, I cannot wait for you to see a really nice full site of Dottie's, because we're going to do a little bit different of a keynote this year where we're going to have it completely question oriented. We're going to get in advance all of your questions that you want answered. So we're going to talk about, you know, the bumps in the roads, the pits and the valleys that you have to be able to navigate through in order to become successful. Because like Dottie said, a lot of people don't talk about the quote unquote failures that people have, but we need to know about these things. So we'll talk about different failures, different successes, talk about gender differences in business, how you really get ahead. And we're also even going to talk about Dottie's story about how she did it, because I know you did it with, I heard your story. Can you tell a little bit about your story about how you did with the big loan and all that without giving it all away?
I started in the business when I was in my 20s, and then it wasn't like $1 million listing now where everybody's glamorous. And I was still going to school actually. And I said, you know, I'm not going to stay in this business, to my boss. I said, because I'm going to be a stockbroker. I'm getting my Series 7. And then real estate wasn't a glamorous business. So P.S., I did get my Series 7 and everything. And my boss said, I said, well, I'm going to be leaving. And he said, don't leave, because Merrill Lynch is buying our company and they're going to start a real estate division across the United States. It's not going to be a franchise. It's going to be a national real estate division. And they're going to take their customer base, sell them a stock, they'll sell them homes, and they had a mortgage company. And frankly, I learned so much. I went to everything they had. I learned the business in a time when the real estate was very local. I learned it in a much bigger way, a big picture way. And I was a sponge. I went to everything they had. And when they sold the company, I was hysterical because I loved working for them. I loved learning. And when they sold it and Prudential bought it, I was like, oh no. But Prudential said, we don't want to have a national company. We just want to have a franchise because we think that the business is not national. We think it's a bit local. To make a long story short, my job was just to help them find a buyer. I had no money. But I think when I was 29, I said, oh, I'm so upset. I love what I do. And now they're going to sell this company. And somebody said, why don't you buy it? I said, because I have no money. They said, well, just say you do. And actually, I wrote Prudential a letter with a little help from some husbands who were CPAs and who helped me with some numbers. And I said, I have the money and I want to buy the company. And I had 1,900 agents that were supportive of me, and I was the youngest. But it's all how you see things. I was confident, and they let me. It was something that normally they'd never do. And they said, well, we can't lend you the money. And I said, but I'm the best person to have it. And I convinced them.
Right.
And then when I went back to buy the city, which was after 9/11, which obviously we were expecting a second terrorist attack. And it's very risk oriented to give a big loan out. When we're expecting a second terrorist attack in New York City, they lent me $75 million because I did a good job for them in Long Island. And I borrowed that from Prudential, and I'm glad to say I paid it all off. 2002.
That's awesome.
And everyone said, Dottie, why would you even think to ask? Because you know what I've learned? And Phil, I know that you have the same thing. I wasn't afraid to get the word no, because people say no when they actually just mean, maybe not today it's no, but tomorrow it might be yes. Okay, so I really think that part of it is to be persistent and to believe in what you are selling or talking about. I believed I was the best person to do the job. I believed I could do it. If you believe that you're the best home stager and that you can make a difference in how much money you'll get and or whether it sits on the market, if you believe it and it's coming from in your heart, you didn't memorize some line somewhere, your passion will transmit to that person on the other side.
Yeah.
And I think that's really so key.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that really was my career, and I went from Merrill Lynch, then to Prudential, then to my own company, and I kept up on things, and I share that with everyone, to go to seminars, to go to courses. It's so important. You wouldn't want to go to a doctor who didn't take a course for 25 years. Okay.
Right.
I just think, and then there were a lot of people in my life that I met going to things. And of course, a lot of them were my competition, but I kept in touch with them. They helped me out. I was able to have a group people that I could call and say, I'm having a problem with this. What do you think? And that's just so important. So I applaud you and I applaud what you do. And I certainly will help integrate it in my company. We use stagers, but there's no one that I can think of. There's a couple but there's no one that's really, there's enough for everyone. No one's really taking it over.
Right.
And now I think with all the shows like $1 Million Listing and all that, not that every house is a $20 million house, but I think people want to see, especially the younger generation, they really want to see something. And even if you just take the clutter out and clean, I think people want to see that. They want to see, a house that shows well, because again, most people aren't visual. And, Shell, I wanted to ask you, do you start even with the photos that go online, when people are going online to look at properties? Do your stages tell them what they should do even in the front? Or is it just mainly in the inside?
Oh, no, it's everything from curb appeal, drive up, to all the way to even the backyard. They'll go through the front door to the back door and tell them everything that needs to be done.
Yeah, that's so important, because I tell people if they've accepted the front and the location, they've accepted 70% of the house. And a lot of people don't take the time to just make that show well.
Right.
So, and I think, look, just like our business, your business is the same way. People work or whatever they want to work on. So I usually, when I start with a seller, and they're like, oh, well, what do you charge? And I'm like, look, if you're looking for the cheapest person and you don't care about the quality, I'll give you a list of people who charge $1.99. Okay? Because I don't even want to pursue that conversation. If someone cares nothing about quality and the work that you do, but that's really where you have to internally have a mindset that you're valuable.
Right.
And I think that comes from within. And I think that especially women, I'm not being biased against men, I just think especially women, sometimes we don't really value what we do enough.
Exactly. And we're people pleasers. So when people say, oh, it's too much, can you come down on your price? I always teach stagers, don't come down on your price, because every time you come down on that price, that's profit out of your pocket. And I actually even tell a story recently where I had floors installed. 3 small floorings in my house. They wanted $8,400. I negotiated it to $2,400, and that is what I paid. That's a really big gap. Come down on your price. And every friend I told this to was like, how the hell did you do that? I'm like, I just kept saying no until they wouldn't come down anymore. He kept coming down, and I'm like, try it again. You taught me well. So I'll try that again. Okay, you did it again. I just kept going. $2,400, but that's a big gap. So now I'm pissed.
So do you think that if he would have stopped, if he would have said, or the person would have said no at 4, then you would have, in other words, he just kept on lowering when maybe you would have paid more if he just stopped.
Yeah. I had him. He was mine.
I sometimes try not, I don't even negotiate. I mean, I'm a great negotiator, but I don't, like, I value people's business. And I think that, look, everyone has to be somewhat a little flexible, but the point is, I would think your business is like ours. There are real estate companies that charge like $150, okay, to sell a listing. I mean, there are, and so I think that when you meet somebody, you need to really stress, yourself and your brand and what you do and how you differentiate yourself from everybody else. And if you want the cheapest person, then maybe you get up and walk.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is like with me in that negotiating scenario, I had nothing to lose. I already didn't have the floors that I wanted. I had literally nothing I could lose. So if you approach it that way, chances are you're going to get the job. But when you stand by your pricing, like you said, you've got to be flexible. So it's, yes, at this amount, I can't come down to do the job we're doing. But if we maybe take out one room or, do something less, then I can meet a budget. That's different than just discounting and taking, chipping away.
Right. Because you're talking about negotiating skills.
Yeah.
And in negotiating, two people have to win. Not one person is, I won, you lost. Okay, so that whole idea is not to say, well, I'm not going to move 1 inch. You're going to have to do it. But it's where you do, like you said, a give and take, negotiate. Well, I'm going to give you this, but we're going to do that. And maybe I'll drop it a little, but I'll take a room out, or I'll do this and that. And I think that's the skill of negotiating. But I think that's key, because I think both people, the stager and the home buyer, or sometimes the broker's paying for it. I guess you can have it set up and paid by anybody you want. I mean, the broker might pay for it, the company might, the homeowner. But I think at the end of the day, everyone has to feel like a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dottie, yeah, absolutely. Dottie, this has been a joy to have you on. I think we're going to end it on that high note. Everybody wants to be a winner. Any last words for people coming to RESA?
No, I just can't wait to be there. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody, learning a lot, listening to all the other great speakers you have, and spending time with you and everybody and having some fun too.
Awesome. Well, everybody, you heard it here first. If you are on the fence about attending RESACon, jump off that fence, get to resaconvention.com and sign up today. We still have early bird pricing that is going, I believe, until June 15th. So check it out. Not only will Dottie be joining us, but we are going to have over 20 other speakers on different topics. We run 3 sessions at a time for somebody who's new, somebody's in the middle part of their business, and even for the seasoned stagers that have been around for a little bit longer. So check us out. Also, home of the Home Staging Industry Awards, where we are going to award the industry's brightest and most successful stagers that are out there, and plus crown the Professional Home Stager of the Year. So this episode of Stager Talk, until next time, happy staging. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Bye.
Can't wait to see you. Bye.